Hi everybody, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing the Shadow Work Tarot reading for the sign of Gemini. Now, as you know, over the weekend we had a really powerful full moon in the sign of Pisces. And this was a really good time for, bringing certain shadow aspects to the surface so that we can really start to purge the things that no longer serve us and embrace this newness and the opportunity for healing and personal growth. So the reason I wanted to do this read, particularly around the mid-month, this will be an ongoing theme, is so that you can use those energies to really manifest positive changes and to confront those negative aspects head on. So to begin with, I'll be using the Dark Mirror Oracle deck. And the reason I love this deck is because it really does shine a light on the shadow aspects that's trying to be, brought to the surface in order to be healed. Then I'll be using the Wild Unknown Tarot in order to get more information, and then we'll clarify using the intuitive where needed. Okay, so let's just get stuck in, shall we? So what have you got going on, Gemini? What shadow aspects is being brought to your awareness at this time? Okay, revenge. I had this for Libra as well, actually. So yeah, you may be dealing with a particularly stressful situation that didn't come to the resolution that you'd hoped, and that's what's triggering this desire to get back at the person who brought you pain, or to really just hold the world to rights. Because of this misery that you're in, because of the injustice that you see in the world, it's making you want to invoke, vengeance, or at least those wrath-like energies on others, because you're sick of the injustice, you're sick of being treated unfairly, and you think it's time that matters were taken into your own hands. Okay, so that's very much to do with the anger stage of grieving, and the corresponding moon phase there shines a light on that, in that you are feeling rather vengeful at this time. Some circumstance in particular may have triggered that emotion in you, this anger that you have, but I feel like it's really coming from a place of things just not feeling fair to you right now. That you've been doing all this work, that you've been making all this effort, and yet it's still not yielded the results that you were hoping for, right? That's what I feel like for you in this particular reading, Gemini. So let's pull out the other card then. I always pull two cards because there's never one thing in isolation. There's always multiple aspects to these things, right? And yeah, the card I got for you is I Won't Cry For You. Okay, so this is really coming out of that. So maybe this is the energy you were in recently, that anger, but you're moving into this place of acceptance, right, in the process. And what you're saying here is that, yeah, I have shed my tears, I have bled myself dry, in this pain that I'm in. And there's nothing left now other than to, essentially cut my losses and move forward. I've bled all the tears that I could, right? You see how her tears are there on her face, blood tears, but they're kind of drying. She's saying, look, I've bled enough for you. There's nothing left that I can give except this little vial, which is all my pain. But I'm moving forward now. I'm just going to move forward. The tears have dried up. The well is dry. There is nothing else to do but to leave the circumstance and move on, right? So that's what this is essentially communicating here. So I feel like you're in a place of transition. You're coming from this phase of anger and wanting to invoke, your wrath on others, and coming from out of that place of just pure anger and, really just wanting retaliation, to just come into this place of acceptance, knowing that the situation is what it is and it's time to move forward, because there's nothing else that can be done. You've dried all your tears are dry. You've tried to communicate what you wanted to communicate. There is no resolution, so you need to move forward. So now I'm just going to pull the cards in relation to this past week, so what you've been dealing with. Okay, so this gives you an indication of where you're at with this. But I feel like you are moving into this place of acceptance, and no longer wanting to just, feel stuck in your misery, right? I feel like you've been trapped in your pain long enough and you're just wanting to let it all go now. Because you know there's nothing else you can do. You gave it all you could. And yeah, there's no result, like there's no resolution there, right? So you're just moving forward. Okay, and the last one, please. Okay, that was way too many. Alright then. Oh, this is interesting. This read looks very different to what I imagined. Okay, so, and you've got a 10 of Wands in reverse at the bottom. That was just flashing for me, so interesting enough. Alright then. So just to explain, this is where you were at the beginning of this past week. So that's the 6 of Wands in reverse. Oh, sorry, no, in reverse. 6 of Wands in the upright. I feel like, you're wanting that release, okay? You want to free yourself from this situation that's no longer serving you. It could be in relation to your work, your love life, family matters, friends, creative projects. It could be anything really at this stage. But whatever it is that resonates with you, you're trying to free yourself from the burden that came with this circumstance. There was something that was weighing very heavily, on your emotions and on your mental state, and you're just trying to free yourself. I feel like you're in that energy of wanting to free yourself from this burden, because there is no resolution at this time. There's nothing positive coming from this. Okay. Then you got the 2 of Swords in the midweek. So I think that over the last few days, you kind of realized that you had to make a decision as to whether or not you keep going and trying to find some kind of solution within this issue, or if you just move on and just call it quits. So that's the decision you've kind of had to make. And I don't think it was something that came easy at all. I think it was a very hard, emotionally trying decision, but you knew that you were at that point of no return. The well is dry, right? So you just had to make a logical decision, because emotionally you're completely spent at this point. And then in the weekend, so over this full moon period, you had the 3 of Wands. So you're really stepping into that space of knowing and realizing that you have the ability to affect your reality, that you may not be able to change specific circumstances that you've had to deal with. Certain aspects of it may be outside your control, but you have the power to manifest positive changes in your life. And I think that you've come into that place of really wanting to take that on board more and really start to look into the laws of attraction, look into ways in which you can manifest emotional abundance into your life, right? So in the following week, so this is coming up next week from tomorrow onwards, you have the 9 of Cups, okay, in reverse. So I think you are still purging now, even though you may not be as emotionally explosive as you were just recently. I think it's more coming to a place of understanding and acceptance, and you're just overcoming that last hurdle with your emotions. The purging is still continuing. That's why you feel kind of spent and numb and tingly and just kind of just drained on every level, because I think you're just moving through that last stages of grieving. Okay, So your heart may feel a bit heavy right now, but it's not going to last, okay? This feeling that you have, particularly in the beginning of next week, is temporary, okay? It's just part of this it's just part of the process, okay? You're just going through that last hurdle in order to really step into this place of acceptance and moving forward. So in the middle of the week, you've got the Ten of Pentacles in the upright. So you see what I mean? Like this is changing. This circumstance will not be the same. Nothing will remain the same in regards to this particular situation. The cycle's coming to an end. I feel like this is very karmic for some of you. That's the energy I get, that this is part of your, a big part of your personal growth journey, that this was actually a very important lesson that you had to go through in order to obtain the information that you have now about yourself and what you need to do moving forward. So I feel like it served its purpose, even though it was painful and it caused a big disruption in your life. It was absolutely necessary to give you the awareness that you now have, so that you can make different choices, so that you can approach life in a different way that's going to be much more balanced and positive, right? Without some of these negative attributes or just negative circumstances that can be replayed with different people in different time periods, right? So in the end of the week, you have Mother of Swords in reverse. So that's the Queen of Swords in reverse for the weekend. So I feel like you're kind of going to withdraw a little bit. You're not going to be saying too much about how you're feeling at this time. You may have been quite vocal about that, especially when you were in this anger stage. You may have been very vocal about your feelings, but I feel like you're not going to be doing that at this time, because you're now reassessing where it is that you're headed, and you know that your words have weight, right? You know there's power in your words, and that if you're not careful of how you communicate at this time, you can easily find yourself back in this stage of anger, right? So you're being very careful. You're not communicating maybe with specific people, and you're certainly not communicating about specific feelings that you're having or have had in regards to this situation, because you know that it will have an effect on where you're heading just now, okay? So you're being kind of a little bit more dormant on that front. Not that you still won't be doing your things and going about your life, but just you're not going to be so vocal about this situation right now, while you're kind of processing and moving into a stage of acceptance and healing. So in the final week then, the beginning of that week, you got the Seven of Cups in the upright. So I think you know that there is an opportunity for for a more positive, balanced, emotionally fulfilled life, okay? I think you know that that's out there for you. You just have to go through this last hurdle, that you need to align yourself with the things that you wish to attract. So that's why you're kind of going through this last part of the process, so that you're ready to really step into that place of abundance and attract the right kind of chemistry and connection with other people. That it's going to be very uplifting, that's going to inspire you and show that there is joy in life, and that that it's not outside your reach, right? That it's there for you as well, not just other people. But I feel like there's still a little bit of work to go yet, and you're aware of that. So you just really want to focus on healing certain aspects of yourself, and really giving yourself that care and nurturing and attention that you so badly need, so that you're in a better place to attract that, right, from the universe. So that's the energy. I feel like you're really going to step into that real self-nurturing, self-love energy, which is really prominent for a lot of people right now. Most signs will have this come up in their reading in some way. I've been seeing it a lot, particularly in the previous readings. It's such a big message right now for the overall collective, so I'm not surprised that this is playing a big role in your reading as well, Gemini. But that's the energy you're going to be stepping into, because you don't want to, I think if you meet someone new, or if you're like trying to connect, you know, in a different way with people you know, or just like make new friends, like make a new circle or anything like that, you're not going to want to come in with the wrong energy and attract more of the same, right? You want to draw in positive things, right? Connect with people on a more profound, you know, soul level, right? That's what I feel like you're looking for. So you're trying to make sure you embody that energy before you go seeking other people. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really toxic, codependent situation where you just feed off of their positivity, right? And that's not what you want. So that's why you're really focusing on getting yourself where you need to be first. So that one cup that's not in the upright will be, okay? And then in the middle of the week, you've got the Daughter of Wands in the upright. So that's the Page of Wands. And that's really saying that you are beginning this passion journey, right? Passion for all things in your life, right? Passion for the creative things you enjoy, or for your work, for your projects, you know, passion for connecting with new people and existing people in your life. It's really just taking on this new, fresh approach and just seeing the beauty in things again. I think that's what you're kind of missing right now, like seeing the beauty in life. You know, everything's been so cold and distant and stagnant lately, and you really just wanting to just connect with you know, the purer things in life, the things that make you feel content and wholesome and joyful, you know, just simple pleasures. That's what I feel like is coming out of this, in this position. Like, you know, the need for the little things in life, the little joys in life, right? That's where you're kind of going to be gravitating towards by the end of that by the middle of that final week, okay? The simple pleasures in life. And then by the end of it, Ace of Wands. I mean, wow, talk about a transition, right? Going from this to this is like incredible, okay? So this is the energy you're really stepping into. I think you kind of realize that that's the key here, right? That there's, you know, appreciating the little things in life, having that sense of gratitude, knowing that things are really not as bad as they seem. That once you look at it from the right perspective and you let this circumstance go, that actually you've got a lot to be grateful for, and that there is a lot of positive things in your life. And then that's what's going to help you to step into this energy of the Ace of Wands, right? Of being able to create more abundance, more joy, more beauty in your life, right? Really nurturing really powerful soul connections. Okay, so that's what you're stepping into by the end of the month, Gemini. Like, that's incredible. You know, that's no small thing to come out of this situation and really step into your power that in such a way. Like, that's, gosh, that's amazing. Like, you know, that's like the best outcome, right? So just to clarify then, the Six of Wands, so where you were at the beginning of this week, you had the Queen of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the Four of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, so you were really, really focused on coming away from this situation. You're releasing yourself of the burdens that are associated with it. You're not waiting for any more drama or trauma to come from this situation, so you have removed yourself from it entirely, even emotionally, hence the dried tears. No more tears to cry. The Ten of Cups, you know, done, emotionally done, finished, spent, you know, paid my dues, next circle, right? New beginning. There you got with the Queen of Wands there. That's very powerful. That's you stepping into that place, right? This is you saying, this is where I belong, right? This is where I am. You know, this is my power. I can do this, right? I know my worth. I know my strength, right? I know what it is that I want to achieve in life. I know what I want to attract. Therefore, I'm going to step into that energy. So the fact that you're already, you know, taking that very seriously, and it was so clear in your mind early this week, is a very powerful step forward, Gemini. Like that shows real strength of character, right? So you should be very proud of yourself that you were able to go from such a low vibrational frequency to really like stepping up to the plate and saying, I know this isn't going to be easy. I know there's still some work to be done, but you know, it's worth it. I'm willing to put the work in, right? So that's awesome. I'm really happy for you. So what about this Two of Swords then? Okay, so you've got the Justice, the Fool in reverse, and Strength, okay? So your decision is going to largely affect your outcome. It's not easy. It's going to take a lot of strength. It's going to take a lot of discipline on your side, right? It's going to take a lot of willpower, but it's not beyond you, okay? You can do this. You're strong enough to face this, okay? But it may mean that you have to do a little bit of introspection before you step forward. As I said, there's still a bit of healing work that needs to be done before you can step boldly into that new chapter, okay? You're almost there. It's literally coming up now. But there's just this last little hurdle that you're going through right now in order to do that and to really come into that space of knowing and manifesting, okay? But you've already made the decision, right? This was where you were at the middle of this, made the decision. So now you're doing the work. Okay, so that you can move forward. So let's have a look then at the Three of Wands. Okay, you've got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So I think you know that it's not beyond you to achieve all that you hope for, okay? That you can have the physical abundance, that you can have something more stable, something true, right? Whatever this situation is, like I said, relationships, work, whatever it is. But this isn't it, and you know it's not it. So by knowing that, you can actually move towards what will be the thing that will give you that stability, that joy, that fulfillment, you know, that's more aligned to what really matters to you, okay? What else we got here? Okay, Queen of Swords in reverse. So I feel like you don't have to, I think, yeah, I mean, because like I said, by the end of next week, you're not going to be saying so much, but I feel like you really don't need to, right? You don't need to communicate what it is that you want with the parties involved in this situation. So if you are still communicating and having disagreements or trying to force your opinion or your perception on someone, it's time to really stop that, because it's not going anywhere, okay? It's time to really come back in and focus on what it is that you're trying to manifest, not what you're trying to change that cannot be changed, right? And you also had the Empress card, okay? So this is the energy you need to step in. The Empress is not someone who's gonna, like, you know, force her will on someone else. She doesn't need to, because she's aware of her power. She has dominion. She has her empire, right? She has conviction, right? Strength in her conviction to know that if she moves forward and is aligned, then things will come, right? Those that are meant for her, the things that are meant for her and that are aligned to her vision will come. And that's what she does, okay? She's nurturing, she's compassionate, but she's also a leader, right? And that's the energy you have to embody, not the Queen of Swords in reverse, because that's not going to lead to anything. So if you're still trying to argue your point across or change someone's perception on this situation, it's communicating that needs to stop, because it's not going to bring you any closer to any resolution. It's just going to make the situation worse. Okay? Embody the energy of the Empress by accepting and letting go, and really focusing on the things that you do want and changing your life for the better. Okay? Rather than operating from a space of fear and, you know, not wanting the change, because change is coming regardless. Okay? So let's clarify the 9 of Cups. Everything's just flying on the floor today. Okay, so you have the Knights of Wands. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're coming out of that place of just stagnation and moving towards this, like I said, this final hurdle, so that you can be past the circumstance, so that, you know, everything that needed to be learned, everything that needed to be healed within this has been, and you have the clarity of vision to move forward towards the things that are going to be aligned with where you're headed, right? This new beginning, because you are also changing as a result. It's not just your circumstances that are changing. You are changing as a result of it, Gemini, okay? You are not the person you once were. So it's important to know that, because the things you want are going to change. The things that you gravitate towards are going to change. I feel like you are looking for, you know, what resonates with you on a soul level now. Before it may have been what resonates and makes you happy in the material sense, but now you're very focused on soul level connection, soul level fulfillment, joy, happiness, right? In all aspects of your life. So let's see if we've got anything else here. Yeah, Page of Cups, you know, fresh start, new beginning, being able to heal your emotions so you have that fresh approach, you know, to your relationships, to your connections with your friends, family, co-workers, you know, anyone really, pretty much, that you're going to have any kind of connection with on any emotional level. You're having to do the purging, you're having to heal the wounds so that you can bridge those connections or create new connections from like a fresh new place in your heart, right? You couldn't do it with the emotions and the energy you had going on recently, but once you're in that space where you're being reborn emotionally, you can start that journey again, but anew, you know, with a fresh perspective and with a more, a slightly more balanced way, you know, of connecting with people. Like you're gaining emotional you're gaining emotional intelligence is what I'm trying to say, okay? But this is a new area for you, okay? It's not that you weren't emotional or engaged with your emotions or emotionally intelligent at any level. It's just that you didn't have the awareness and the knowledge and the experience that you have now, right? So you're more equipped to connect with people in a very positive way emotionally, okay? But you're still learning, you're still growing, you're still healing, so you have to take that kind of approach as well, that there's still much to be learned, okay, as you embark on this new journey. So let's have a look then in terms of the 10 of Pentacles for the middle of next week. Okay, so you've got the Death card in reverse. So change is coming, but you know, it also requires the right timing. And as I said, there's still some things that are being let go of and being transformed. So while it is literally on the horizon for you, Gemini, you have to be a little bit patient, because you have to go through this last little hurdle in order to come out the other side, okay? You're almost there. Yeah, the 9 of Swords in reverse. So let go of all those worries, let go of your anxieties, let go of all the hurt, all the confusion, let it all go, and it will help you to move past that last stage quicker, okay? So you have the 9 of Wands and the 2 of Pentacles. There's another card, I'll get that in a moment. But the Nine of Wands is signifying that while there may have been a lot of attributes to this situation that made it complicated, made it difficult to kind of just ignore or let go. You're having to do so because you know that by communicating certain things at this time isn't going to bring any sort of resolve, okay? Especially when you're trying to step into this space of attracting the positive, right? So rather than pursuing these things further and continuing the conflict, you're just letting it go because it's not aligned to where you're headed, right? You don't want that anymore. So rather than continuing the discussion on these things, you're letting them all go so that you can attract the things that are aligned to where you wish to head, right? And you've got the Two of Pentacles, so there is potentially someone that's going to come in and give you support, right? Help you to do that, help you to see things for what they really are and more objectively. Maybe also provide that emotional support and fulfillment they've been looking for, because I just picked up the card on the floor and it was the Four of Cups. So there may be someone coming in that wants to nurture your growth, that wants to give you the support, that doesn't want to fix you. They don't see you as broken, right? You may feel like you were broken recently, but they don't see you as broken. They see you as someone who's transforming, someone who's growing and changing and being more aligned to, you know, the energy they're supposed to be operating in, right? So maybe they see that, and that's why they want to offer you this cup, this potential new beginning with them. So it could be that you have an admirer or a love interest, okay? And maybe they're going to connect with you over the weekend, or maybe you're going to be communicating and something is revealed in that time, okay? Or just the fact that they're there, you know, that they're there supporting you, okay? And then you know that that support's available. So what about the Seven of Cups then in the upright for the final week, the beginning of the final week? Okay, you got the Seven of Pentacles in the upright. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, you're really investing in yourself at this time, your own self-love, self-healing, because you know that you can't, nothing can really move forward until you're right within yourself, right? So that's why with that last cup that needs overturning, in order to be flowing, you know, abundantly on all aspects of self, you're really investing the time and energy into yourself and really nourishing your own well-being, whether it's probably on all levels. I feel like you're going to be really looking at your diet, you're going to be looking at exercise, you're going to be making sure that you're engaging in things that make you happy, like creative projects or hobbies. You're going to be looking at your work situation and maybe evaluating that, whether that's working for you or not. You can maybe think about travel or meeting up with friends you haven't seen for a long time, maybe connecting with family members you haven't seen for a long time, things like that. You're really thinking about what's going to bring you the most happiness and vitality, right? Okay, and what about the Daughter of Wands? So this is like in the middle of the week. So as I said, I feel like that's really you stepping into this space of gratitude and appreciation. Okay, so Four of Pentacles in reverse. So I think that, yeah, you've been on very unsteady ground for quite some time, and you realized that maybe part of that was you had the wrong perspective. That actually the reason why you felt so unstable emotionally is because you weren't seeing things clearly with the right lenses, right? That actually there's a lot of things in your life to be grateful for, and that, you know, there are good things on the horizon. I think you're starting to feel that at this time. So you're really approaching your outlook on life very differently at this point, I feel. Let's see if there's anything else for you in relation to that. Yeah. I just feel like you know that there are some things that just don't serve you anymore. There's certain connections that are just not leading to anything that's going to bring nourishment to your life, so you're letting those go. It may be that you found out that there was another party involved in this, or maybe someone else was getting involved and was trying to stop you from healing in some way. I don't know. It could be that if this is a relationship, you could be dealing with someone who has a third party, or it could be family members of yours or theirs getting involved and trying to create a solution for you when you know that that doesn't work like that. You need to come to your own conclusion. It could be just simply that so much has happened in a short period of time that you're just kind of done contending with various factors and it coming between you and this connection, right? So you're just kind of letting it go because it's preventing you from seeing the positive in your life, right? So take that however it resonates, but I feel like there is some factor that's been at play here that's been preventing you from seeing the positive, right? Maybe there was a promise of some reconciliation and then it never actually came to light. Or maybe there was like maybe there was some kind of mediation, because with that Three of Swords I feel like there could be some kind of mediation that was taking place but someone didn't turn up, like particularly if this is a divorce you're going through. There could be some mediation that was supposed to take place and the other person didn't come, or you didn't come because you were just done with it, so just take it if it resonates. If it doesn't, that's fine. Okay, and then finally this Ace of Wands then. Okay, alright, so you got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So you're choosing to remove circumstances or factors in your life that are not aligned to where you're headed. So that may mean that you may lose some finance somewhere because you're cutting something off. Maybe some kind of revenue stream because it's tied to this circumstance and you don't want it anymore. Or it could be just simply that you're thinking of moving home, so that's going to cost you money because you were living with this person. I just feel like, there's going to be some kind of financial implication there with this change, right? But nothing that's going to cause like serious issue or instability. It's just, there is going to be some kind of expense there for some of you. You've got the Magician. So you are really not starting to know your worth, know what your capabilities are, and step into that space of the Ace of Wands, right? Knowing that you are the creator of your reality and starting to really wanting to shape it for the better. You have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, so you know that it's a process, it takes time, but fortune is going to start moving in your favor. Things are changing, right? Really seriously changing, and that if you continue down this path, you will not have to deal with this circumstance anymore. If you embrace that newness, that space of knowing and acceptance and self-love, then you will not have to go through this circumstance again. The lesson has been learned, the karma has been balanced, right? So you no longer have to go through that. Then you've got the Temperance in reverse, that you're not waiting for things to just magically, appear and solve everything, right? That you're taking positive steps forward so that you can be ready to step into this newness, so that you can get past this last hurdle, because you have what it takes. You have the strength, you have the vision of how you want your life to be, you have the discipline and the willpower to do it, okay? So there's no need to wait for divine guidance or to wait for a savior, right? That you're going to be your own. because you can do it and you're ready to do it, okay? So that's pretty awesome. I have to say, Gemini, that turned out way more positive than I thought it could go. So, I mean, just keep going is all I can say to you. Just keep doing the work. Yeah, really pay attention to your communications at this time, because that is really important. If you have family members or friends or just outside influences that are trying to tell you to do one thing that is opposite to what you want, don't listen, because you know what you want and what you're trying to the vibration you're stepping into is not one they understand, okay? They don't have all the facts and they're not operating from the same frequency, okay? Because I feel like you really have outgrown this energy, right? Which some of these people may be locked into, and you're really stepping into the space of knowing and acceptance and abundance and, you know, really sort of 5D energy, right? So don't take advice or be pressured by people who are still operating on a much lower frequency, okay? You just do you. You know, just say thank you, I appreciate, you know, your concern, but this is what I'm going to do, okay? You just do you is what I'm saying. All right, so I wish you all the best with this circumstance. I think things are going to start really changing from here for you. So it'll be interesting to see where things go from here. So if you found this useful, do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, because there'll be much more coming up for you very soon. So take care for now, Gemini.